Morning, number 6.
Morning, number 10.
He's not the first, he's not the first, but he's the second best secret agent in the whole wide world. Not number one, but not the worst. He's just the second best secret agent in the whole wide world. He's every bit as good as what's his name, with a dame, any dame, and all those bullet holes are in his vest. To prove you work a little harder when you're second best, give him his due. He's number 2, right in there doing his act, despite the fact he shot clear through. Not the 10th, 9th, 8th, 7th, 6th, 5th, 4th, 3rd, or 1st, when the challenge is hurled. But the second best secret agent in the whole wide blooming world. Not the 10th, 9th, 8th, 7th, 6th, 5th, 4th, 3rd, or 1st, when the challenge is hurled. But the second best secret agent in the whole wide blooming world. That's my man.
Comrade Technikov, Professor August Jakobson was murdered. Shot dead 20 minutes ago.
That should slow down the grave negotiations with the British.
Mr. Pickering to see you, sir.
Ah, send him in.
Yes, sir.
You know why I'm here? Regrave, I assume. I want our new visitor protected. He's terrified after what happened to his brother on Hampstead Heath.
I can assure you, my dear Pickering, you have the best protection that our department can afford. If he's scared, that's good. It gives us a better chance of keeping him healthy.
I don't want any question of chance. Jacobson must live, at least until the formula is checked and working. I want your agents to hold his hand when he goes for a walk and tuck him in bed at night. I want 3 or 4 of your best men breathing down his neck, day and night.
3 or 4? You're joking. The Prime Minister only gets 2. You chaps don't seem to realize what my department has to do. The Defense Estimate allocates more money to toilet rolls for troops than to my whole organization. I'll give you 1 man.
All right, 1 man, but he must be your best. Believe you me, the opposition is going to be tough. How about that boy who settled that gold conspiracy? What's his name? Bonds and Fetter or something?
I'm afraid he's otherwise engaged at present, but I got a good man for you. As a matter of fact, he came top of the class in weaponry and unarmed combat. He also got a first in maths at Oxford, so you'll be able to talk to your professor.
To hell with Oxford. Is he experienced?
Nothing as big as this assignment before, but I'm quite sure he can handle it.
Wish I shared your confidence.
He's a clever old number, licensed to kill. I can assure you that the fellow is tough, discreet, and dedicated.
Dedicated to what?
Charles, I love the way you do it.
So fast, so neat.
Wasteland. 4 letters across.
Oh, Charles, more. M-O-O-R.
Oh, yes, of course. Hello?
Is that Charles Vine?
Yes, of course it is.
This is Rockwell here, huh?
Oh, good morning, sir.
Are you tied up at the moment?
No, I've nothing on at present.
Ah. Well, could you possibly drag yourself away from her?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Well, when would you like to see me?
As soon as possible.
I'll come round straight away.
Charles? It's not just physical with us, is it?
No, of course it's not. Whatever gave you that idea?
Good afternoon, Vine. I would like you to meet Walter Pickering of the Foreign Office.
How to do?
How do you do? Pickering has a job for you. He wants you to guard the life of a Swedish scientist named Henrik Jakobsen. We have a pretty shrewd idea that other interested parties are going to do their darndest to get his secrets. Failing that, they're going to try and get him.
Henrik Jakobsen. Now, isn't that Henrik and August Jakobsen? Didn't they do a famous double act in quantum physics?
They moved on from quantum physics some time ago. It's a single act as from yesterday. August Jakobsen was killed on Hampstead Heath. He's in our care, but unfortunately he's in no position to tell us much about regrav.
What's regrav?
After quantum physics, the Jakobsens moved on to an investigation of gravity. They worked on a revolutionary device to reverse the center of gravity. And they call the power that this device generates regrav. And on a low level, regrav could completely change our transport system. On a high level, it can give complete protection against nuclear attack. Rockets would be repelled from the regravitated field.
That sounds like a pretty valuable national asset.
Valuable enough for the other side to offer Jakobsen close on £1 million for the plans.
Tell me, where does Brother Henrik fit into the picture?
He's flying into London Airport tomorrow. He intends to pay his last respects to his brother and clinch the regrav deal with us. We intend likewise. Our rivals presumably intend otherwise. He's in your hands, Vine.
What time does his plane land? How do I recognize him?
There's your man.
Well, I couldn't mistake him. Who's she?
That's Julia Lindbergh, research assistant to Professor Jakobsen. Been with him about 2 years now. They're both arriving at the airport at 10:30 tomorrow morning. I want you to meet them there and take them to your hotel where a suite is reserved for them. In fact, it's adjoining your suite. Guard them night and day, Vine.
Well, gentlemen, I must be going. I have an appointment at the ministry at 3. Goodbye, Mr. Rockwell. Vine.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Well, I'd better be off too, sir.
Before you go, Vine, take off your coat. Where is your gun? Always trying to be different.
I got the idea from a television detective, sir.
You have some disgusting habits, Vine. We have a new gun for you.
Are you joking, sir?
No, I'm not. Y department apparently went to great pains to perfect that novelty. that a single shot kills at 10 yards. Use the one shot wisely. You'll have both guns. May come in useful sometime.
Gentlemen, thank you for attending at such short notice. The business we have to discuss today is of such an urgent nature that I think we can dispense with the minutes for the last meeting. However, I would like to express the thanks to the board, to Mr. Wilson's department, for the success of Operation Hit on Hampstead Heath.
Thank you, sir. I'll express your gratitude to my groups number 6 and 10, who did the actual field work.
Our meeting today is concerned with a related business. I give you Professor Henrik Jakobsen, Swedish scientist extraordinary, and at present a virtually priceless commodity. He will arrive at London Airport tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. and will stay in London for 1 week. We want him as soon as possible. Are there any questions at this stage?
What sort of opposition can we expect?
I was just coming to that, Roger. Gentlemen, Charles Vine.
What's Vine's background?
I'm afraid we don't know very much about him, but I think we can assume that he's capable, or otherwise he would not be employed in a mission of such importance. Now, gentlemen, you will kindly turn to page 5 in the prospectus in front of you. You will see that I have prepared a plan to capture this priceless professor.
Professor Jakobsen.
Oh, yes. You must be Mr. Vine, the gentleman who's going to look after us.
That's right.
Well, I'm delighted to meet you.
How do you do? Allow me.
Oh, thank you. At a time like this, I feel I have to overcome gravity before gravity overcomes me. While apples were to Isaac Newton, suitcases are to Henrik Jakobsen. Ah, this is my assistant, Miss Lindbergh.
Miss Lindbergh, it will be a pleasure having you.
Having me where, Mr. Vine?
Your car's waiting, sir. I'll take this through customs.
Thank you.
Mr. Vine? That's right. We have reliable information that an ambush has been prepared for you along the road. My instructions are to take you back to London by an alternative route. We'll lead the way. Will you follow? Yes, Inspector. Thank you.
And so you see, Mr. Vine, the really crucial part of our work was discovering the frequency of gravitational waves. But once we had discovered that, August and I began working on a monitor that would change the wave's frequency so that they repelled rather than attracted. You are a scientist, Mr. Vine?
Yes, in a way.
In which field?
I studied mathematics. Why?
I'm sorry, I assumed it was physiology. You seem to have an obsessive interest in anatomy.
I am interested in certain areas of the subject. Vine. Keep your hands where we can see them. Your gun, please.
Good morning, Wilson.
Morning, sir.
Sorry to keep you waiting. I had to sort out some pensions for the widows of our unfortunate employees.
That was a bad business on the London road, sir, wasn't it? I'm afraid Charles Vine proved too much of a match for our boys.
Well, he mustn't do his heart, Wilson. Better luck next time. But I do think it's going to be rather dicey taking the professor prisoner.
How long have we got?
Well, we know that Jakobsen will be waiting 3 days until the final results on regrav. My new directions are to go for a direct kill. I want you to be the field commander of the new operation. We can't afford any more bungling.
You can depend on me, sir. Is that all?
I think so. Good morning, Wilson.
Good morning, sir.
And Wilson.
Yes, sir?
Never say die, hmm?
There are problems, comrades. There are problems.
Is that an admission of defeat?
I am only trying to be realistic.
Perhaps that might be a matter of opinion.
I must inform you, Comrade Technikov, that the Premier is displeased with the progress of this affair.
Comrades, it takes time. Negotiating the regrav blueprint needs tact and delicacy.
The Premier doesn't see things that way.
The Premier does not have to handle the situation.
Why haven't you made a direct approach to Jakobsen now that he's in London?
Did they tell you nothing of the situation over here?
No.
Well, then I think it's time that you two comrades made the acquaintance of a few facts. Jakobsen is the prisoner of the British Secret Service. Not only have they a jailer who guards him day and night, but with typical bourgeois cynicism, they even make attempts on his life. They are trying to convince him that they are protecting him against us. These British are absolutely ruthless. They kill many of their own men to strike fear into Jakobsen.
Fantastic. Such efficiency.
Now, Jakobsen's jailer is Charles Vine. Your department has details on him, I think. Now, my plan needs 2 specialists. A gynecologist for the operation and a Siamese for Vine.
They'll be in London tomorrow.
Excellent.
Comrade Technikov, you will have to bear the consequences of failure.
Are all the arrangements made?
All according to plan, miss. Leave everything to me.
Professor. We have some late mourners.
Allow me to introduce myself, Professor. My name is Pickering. This is Maltby. We are here on behalf of the British government.
I'm honored, gentlemen. On behalf of my dead brother. I'm sure August will be delighted to know that the British government is taking such an interest in this funeral.
We wondered if we could get down to the question of discussing regrab with you.
Perhaps you could talk more comfortably outside.
Oh, yes, of course, outside. Shall we, Professor?
My dear Professor, you must realize the urgency of our business. In return for the blueprint, we can arrange to pay you £2 million this evening.
Believe me, after my brother's murder and my own experiences, no one is in a greater hurry than I. But this evening is out of the question.
But why, Professor?
I'm 99% certain that my blueprint will work. But I've got to be 100% certain before I entrust it to anybody. In altering the direction of gravity, I'm dealing with infinitesimal entities. The slightest error in adjusting my gravity monitor could have disastrous consequences.
Yes, we understand that, Professor. Naturally, we would prefer to have the blueprint perfected. In the meantime, your work is so far advanced that I'm sure the British government can find competent scientists to confirm the blueprint for you.
I'm afraid not. I have some figures I want to feed to a computer. And it will take 3 or 4 days to check and analyze the final results. I promise you the blueprint by Friday.
I don't want to be an alarmist, Professor, but just supposing that our enemies really succeed in their attempt on your life. Now, what happens to all your work then? 20 years of work for nothing.
Not at all. If anything should happen to me, I made arrangements with my bank in Switzerland to have a file of information sent to Julia. Oh, Miss Lindbergh, my assistant. We have trained her well. She will be able to help you.
With all due deference to the competence of Miss Lindbergh, if she can work from your notes, then why can't our British scientists do the same?
I'm afraid you won't shift him, gentlemen. Henrik's as stubborn as a mule as far as his work is concerned. If you knew him as I do, you would realize all you can do is to wait and be patient.
Now, if you will excuse me, I'd like to spend a little time that's left with my brother.
I'm sorry your visit seems to be such a waste of time, gentlemen. But you do have Friday as a firm date.
Well, we had hoped for more.
Perhaps we could at least settle the financial details now. It does seem an ideal opportunity. We want a cash transaction and immediate transport to the United States. These are our terms.
Very well. We accept. You will be in safe hands until Friday. It's been a pleasure to do business with you, Miss Lindbergh. Goodbye.
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 Oh.
Never mind, Dmitri. Just a little while longer and we'll all have a place in the sun. Gentlemen, I've been reading your reports. Everything seems to be going extremely well, but I want to impress upon you that we're working to a very tight schedule. So I thought it'd be a good idea to have this little get-together to straighten out any difficulties that remain. I understand that Miss Lindbergh has outlined the terms. £2 million in American dollars and transport to a place of refuge in the United States.
Yes, I have explained to the Home Secretary that Miss Lindbergh's terms on behalf of the Professor were most emphatic about having no banking transactions for obvious reasons. The Home Secretary has agreed to cash.
Any other troubles, Walter?
No, I don't think so. Thanks to the good work of your men, the British government is fully convinced that Technikov and co. are determined to get Jakobson. You've made them realize the urgency. They're positively eager to fork out the cash.
Splendid.
You know, Mr. Vine, this is fascinating. But to answer your previous question, you see, the basic principle of my gravity monitor is really quite simple. It absorbs gravitational waves and then amplifies them into bigger and ever bigger and bigger and bigger curves. You know, peaks and lows, until at their lowest dips, the waves fall below zero. And then we use a rectifier to cut out the oscillation above zero. What are we left with? Negative gravity. That's what we are left with, Mr. Vine. Negative gravity, working in reverse and providing enough power of lift to carry your British Houses of Parliament right up to the moon.
Well, that's a happy thought.
Your program is ready for testing now.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Well, let's get to work.
You, enjoying yourself?
I am. I have an aptitude for figures.
So have I. Tell me, what does this machine do?
It gives general information, depending on the questions it receives.
I see. Ask it for your telephone number, will you? How long will it take, Professor?
5 minutes.
No, I meant to check the entire set of calculations.
Couple of days. And there's nothing much I can do in the meantime. Oh, I say, Mr. Vine, perhaps we could see the sights of London.
And why not? I still know a few places the police haven't closed down yet.
You mean we can still see Buckingham Palace and the Column of Nelson?
Well, I didn't exactly mean the Column of Nelson. Well, do you really want to see those places?
But yes, Mr. Vine. I never had the opportunity on previous visits.
All right.
Don't worry, Mr. Vine. I'm all right. Got myself a bulletproof vest in the lining of my overcoat.
Of course you have. Silly old me, worrying my head off.
Wait, what's your name?
Charles Vine.
It's funny, I met someone like you in Florida.
Oh, really? Who was he?
James something.
Oh, yeah. What did he do?
He told me he was a vacuum cleaner salesman.
Now, isn't that a coincidence? So am I.
Come in.
Breakfast?
Thank you. You hungry?
Oh, Mr. Vine. Come in, come in.
Good morning, Professor.
Sit down.
Thank you.
How are you?
A little tired.
Go to bed.
I only just got up.
You're a strange man. You get out of bed and you say you're tired.
Yes. Where's Miss Lindbergh?
In her room, I suppose.
Would you rather I left you to work?
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. Such bad manners. But I'm so close to my final results. It's beginning to fit together beautifully. The figures are running to their own conclusion, like the notes in a fugue by Bach. It's an exciting feeling. Each time you feel that you have discovered the secret of the universe.
With regrav, you may have done just that.
Regrav? Yes. Yes, I suppose it could change mankind a great deal. But for me, the excitement is almost over. You see, this is the part I really enjoy. The pattern of numbers in the mind. A dream to feast the imagination on before the practical man reduced it to reality. Why did you give up mathematics?
Why do you ask me that?
Well, present life is certainly eventful. But what satisfaction can it give you compared with the kind of thrill I'm talking about? The thrill of discovering new worlds in the mind, the beauty of the language of mathematical symbols, the naked simplicity of figures.
I still appreciate figures.
Oh, you are always joking, Mr. Vine.
Yes, I am. Well, I'll tell you why I gave up mathematics. It was beautiful having figures in my head, but the figures in my bank account remained unimpressive. And for me, those are the figures that really count.
You surprise me, Mr. Vine.
Do I? It's a basic question of economics. I like comfort, good living. In our kind of society, I can't afford to be a thinker.
That sounds very bitter, Mr. Vine.
Professor, you're a rare kind of thinker. One of the lucky ones who's hit the jackpot. Now, you can't tell me that the thought of £2 million in your pocket doesn't excite you.
Well, I must admit, it's a great comfort to me.
I am very pleased that you were able to visit me.
It's been very nice to see you again after so many years. Well, my dear Eric, Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's been extremely interesting.
It's been very nice to have you.
Thank you so
Yes,
much.
thank you.
And I hope to see you soon again.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Doctor.
Goodbye.
Very gratifying to see the British government spending so much money on research.
On science, but not the scientists. Have you known Dr. Larson for long?
Long? We grew up together. He's a very old friend. It was good to see him.
What happened to Miss Lindbergh?
Well, she likes to stay at home sometimes. Wasn't necessary for her to come with me. My visit to Professor Larson was social, not professional.
Frightfully sorry. We'll be out of your way in a moment or two. Our radiator's boiled over.
Oh, bad luck.
Get out.
It's very clever.
Put the body in the car and take it off the road. Take them into the woods and kill them.
Can I have a cigarette?
I don't smoke. Thank you, Mr. Vine. You saved my life.
All right. Now, Professor, get down on the ground and stay still. Get down. No, the odds are just about right. Get down.
Spread out and be careful.
Good day, sir. Would you like to sign the register? Reception? Right, yes. Bye.
Morning.
Good morning. Sorry to keep you waiting, Mr. Vine. What can I do for you?
Will you have my car sent round, please?
Very good, sir.
Any messages?
No.
Thank you.
Ну, да. Тачников. Что, филочек? Я шлышки. О, я включаю. Да, спою. А, то что? Да, очень много. Чайки. Я шлышки. Чайки. Да, спою. Спою. То. Good news, comrades. That was our agent, Sheehy, on the Black Line. He has a reliable information that Jakobson has nearly completed his work on Rigrav.
Good news, Technikov. The professor's blueprint is about to be handed over to the British government, and you call that good news? You sometimes talk like a madman or a traitor.
Oh, don't alarm yourselves, comrades. That was only half the good news. I have established contact with Jakobsen. The British will not get the blueprint they expect.
How could you contact Jakobsen? I thought it was impossible to get near him.
It was. But for 2 months now, I have been conducting delicate negotiations with a high-ranking official of the British Foreign Office. He has access to Jakobsen. He has explained to him the game the British are playing, and he has hinted that the British are responsible for the murder of his brother. So, after that, the professor did not need much persuading to agree to give a fake blueprint to the British and sell his regraph secrets to us.
Excellent, Comrade Technikov.
You see, I have not been wasting my time. Of course, the British official has cost me a lot of money. Perhaps you could persuade our Home Office to send me some expenses this week.
We shall need permission, of course, before we make payment. But in view of the urgency of the situation, I don't foresee any difficulties.
Well, Technikov, all we have to do now is to extract the professor from the tender clutches of Mr. Vine. No.
Thank you.
It works, it works. There's complete correlation of my analysis. All my theories are vindicated. If only August could be here to share this moment. My friends, this marks the end of man's days as an earthbound world. We are free to soar like larks into the sky.
The Home Office has provided the money for regraph.
Our arrangements are almost complete. Soon, comrades, regraph will be ours. Nothing can stop our four-year plan.
And what if the professor should cheat us, as he cheated the British?
Hardly, comrade. If he cheats, he will lose far more than that.
Quite so.
Well, it's in your hands, Comrade Technikov. Good day.
Good day, comrades.
Good day. Comrade Technikov, don't get any ideas about setting yourself up as a capitalist.
Oh, it's our friends from the corridors of power. Come in, gentlemen.
Good afternoon, Ryan. Good afternoon. Ah, my dear Professor. The British government sends you its warmest congratulations. Now, the completion of your blueprint must have taken a great weight off your mind.
Quite a lot of weight of yours, too, I imagine.
We never really had any doubts, Professor Jakobsen.
Now, if the blueprint and the other documents are ready.
Oh, yes, of course. Mr. Vine, please.
I cannot tell you how long I've waited for this moment.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Vine. Here. Everything is here.
Excellent. And we have the settlement from the British government.
Okay.
The money, it's in cash, American dollars.
See for yourself, Miss Lindbergh.
Well, I shan't bother to count it. I take your word for it as an English gentleman.
And now, Mr. Vine tells us that you are leaving us tomorrow.
Yes, of course. Under the circumstances, I think the sooner the safer. Don't you think so, Mr. Pickering?
Well, before you go, perhaps a little festivity might be in order to celebrate your success.
You best ask Mr. Vine. He's my watchdog.
Maltby and I were thinking of going down to my house in Surrey.
I can give you my assurance that your personal safety and that of Miss Lindbergh will be taken carefully into consideration. Now, what can I say?
That's an attractive idea. What do you say, Mr. Vine?
It's an attractive idea, Professor.
Good, then. You'll come. Shall we say 7 o'clock? Goodbye, Miss Lindbergh.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Professor.
Goodbye.
Another suitcase to carry.
Look at it.
Hard to believe. £2 million.
That's 5,600,000 American dollars.
You should have stuck to science, Mr. Vine. By the way, how do you intend getting us and our ill-gotten gains to safety tomorrow?
We leave at 9:30 precisely for London Airport with a convoy of 4 cars containing armed guards.
You mean you're going to make a formal procession of this, Mr. Vine? I mean, isn't that going to attract some undesirable attention?
I hope so, Miss Lindbergh. I hope so. Now, just let me explain. Now, soon after we set out, we enter an underpass. Now, inside this underpass, our place in the convoy is going to be taken by an identical car containing 3 people dressed like us.
What happens to us?
Well, we change cars and wait in the underpass until the convoy has got underway. Then we turn round and make for London docks.
With only you to protect us, Mr. Vine?
What exactly do you mean by only me? No, Miss Lindbergh, as a matter of fact, we pick up a replacement armed escort near the underpass. Then we'll amble down to the docks and see you safely on board a small cargo ship, the SS Durham.
Is the ship safe?
Professor, it's been 20 years at sea. Never a leak.
He means the crew, Mr. Vine.
Oh, I see. Well, the captain is one of our most trusted men, and the crew won't even know who you are, so there's no need to worry. By the way, I wouldn't leave that lying around if I were you. It's a considerable temptation.
Would you see that this letter gets to Mr. Vladimir Sheehy?
Certainly, madam.
It's private. Very private.
Thank you very much, madam.
Excellent work, Sheehy. Excellent work. I don't know how you got this information, but it could be invaluable if Plan Volgograd runs into any hitches. It gives us a chance to rescue Jakobson as Vine takes him to the docks.
Any hero of the Order of Excellence could have done as much. You would expect an agent of my experience to find access to such things.
Quite so, comrade.
So the old underpass trick. The British Secret Service must be running out of ideas. Do they think they can frighten us with an armed convoy?
The armed convoy certainly frightens me, Comrade Technikov. Too much like a battle if we attack. Too much like a war if our attack succeeds.
Ow!
Can't you see the political repercussions could be highly dangerous?
It need never come to that. My plan Volgograd will whisk Jakobson from under the British noses. There need be no international incident. Only one man will die, Charles Vine.
We trust your plan works. Are arrangements for the execution complete?
They are. My British contact has arranged the celebration at his house in Surrey tonight. Vine and Jakobson will be there. Our first specialist, Sheehy here, is guaranteed entry to the house during the party. He will kill Vine according to plan. You are clear about the details, comrade?
Yes, it will be easy.
Good. As soon as you have dispatched Vine, then the way will be clear for our second specialist to take over operations. I think it is time we had him in.
Most certainly.
Send in Krupkin.
Comrades?
Very good, Siamese. The perfect twin for the job. Our plastic surgeons get better and better.
Easy, Major. Do you know what you have to do this evening?
Yes, comrades, I do. I approach the house in Surrey and wait for a signal from Comrade Sheehy. This signal will be given from the window of Vine's bedroom, the second from the left on the second floor. Then I will ascend to this bedroom, put on the clothes of the dead man, and rejoin the party on his behalf.
Comrades, from 11 p.m. tonight, Professor Jakobson will be in the care of a new Charles Vine, our personal representative. He will bring the professor and Miss Lindbergh directly here.
Major Krupkin. You have studied your part well.
Yes, comrade. I have studied for 5 years at the Pantorg Academy.
Let's hear you.
Good evening. I don't believe we've been introduced. My name is Charles Vine. Tell me, do you make a habit of being the loveliest woman in the room?
Ah, Mr. Vine. Lots of pretty girls here, huh?
Yes, there are.
Oh, excuse me, please.
Certainly, Professor. Well, you enjoying the party?
Yes, thank you.
How's the cigar?
Splendid.
The girl wasn't invited. She's a friend of Lord Isleworth. Lovely, isn't she?
Yes. Yes, she is.
She hasn't been security checked. Maybe you'd better keep an eye on her.
Wait a minute. Now, will you give this note to that gentleman and tell him it's from the blonde lady, the healthy one?
Well, I don't know about that, sir.
Oh, I think you do.
Excuse me, sir. There's a note from the lady.
Excuse me.
Good evening. We haven't been introduced. My name is Charles Vine. Tell me, do you make a habit of being the most beautiful woman in the room?
May I have another drink, please?
You're a man.
Yes, Mr. Vine.
3 more minutes and this could have been very embarrassing for both of us. I knew you looked familiar. You're the strange little man from the hotel lobby, aren't you? Mr. Sheehy.
Right again.
That's very appropriate. Tell me, the female voice?
They train us well. Now it is time to die, Mr. Vine.
I don't think so.
I cannot understand what has gone wrong.
You underestimated your opponent. That's what went wrong.
One of our best agents is dead, and there's only one morning left.
We shall make it clear, Technikov, that it was your planning that failed.
Then we must attack the docks convoy. We have the men at the embassy specially trained to do this.
It will cause an international incident. The risk is too great.
Then what in the name of the revolution, what else are we going to do?
Comrades, now if I may be permitted a few observations. I believe this situation is not as hopeless as it seems.
Oh, yes, Major. Pray go on. Tell us how the British will cheer to see gun battles in their streets, how they will applaud on the sidelines if the fighting is fair.
Comrade Technikov, I may not share your knowledge of politics, but I do know my opponent, Charles Vine. Comrades, I am confident he will have no escort to the docks.
But our report explicitly states that he will have an escort.
Comrade, no. Now look at it from his point of view. He arranged an escort to the airport because he wanted to attract our attention. Now why should he risk attracting unwanted attention by taking another escort to the docks? He would be far safer on his own.
How safer? Mr. Vine on his own will stand much less chance than Mr. Vine with a well-armed escort.
Agreed, Comrade Technikov. But please try to remember he does not know that we know the details of his plans. Besides, comrades, I know this man. He is a gambler. And I'm certain he will gamble on slipping away from this underpass as inconspicuously as possible. Any kind of escort would give the game away. He will not risk it. It would be just like this Vine to favor a death or glory effort on his own. Now, with your permission, comrades, I will make sure that it's Vine's death and our glory.
How do you propose to do that?
I shall need one of Comrade Technikov's best marksmen. Otherwise, comrades, trust my judgment. And I will bring you the blueprint and Professor Jakobsen by 10 o'clock tomorrow morning.
It may be our only chance. Very well, Major. You have our permission.
Thank you, comrade. I have just one other question.
Yes, Major?
Suppose Professor Jakobsen decides against joining us after all.
Well, it is highly improbable. But if you like, you can take the money with you. Cash is a great speeder-up of conversions to our cause. Yes, Major, if you care to come with me, I will give you the dollars now. Excuse me, comrades.
Are you satisfied with Krupkin's plan?
Not entirely. Most of all, I have doubts about the integrity of Comrade Technikov.
Is it a case for Sadistikov?
He could at least observe the situation.
If Krupkin's plan goes amiss, he could take care of this man Vine. Sadistikov never fails, and he loves killing.
Where is he now?
He has taken a small job of his own choosing while he keeps an eye on the TSR-2.
What sort of a job has he taken?
Supervisor in a slaughterhouse. He loves killing.
Nothing yet.
Possibly Vine's plan was a phony. The ship could be a decoy. He's probably gone all the way to the airport with the escort.
I don't think so. We'll wait.
All right.
Don't be alarmed. I have the money.
Hello. Feeling better?
You look just like a bloody bridesmaid. Now, do you mind telling me what's going on here?
All in good time. How are they treating you?
Oh, very well. Apart from those two fellows who've been staring at me for the past hour. I mean, is there any particular reason?
Maybe. We'll see. Thank you. I'm sorry about all this, Vine. We had to make sure. This is the doctor's report. She says she'll stake her reputation that you are the right man.
Oh, that's very kind of her.
Now, don't be bitter. Look what I brought you. Tell me, how much do you remember of the scene of the carnage?
Quite a lot.
Good. When we arrived there, we found two child finds, one of them dead. We weren't sure which one we'd got, hence the precautionary measures.
Now I understand. I thought they were going to pinch me for knocking down that helicopter. Oh, by the way, sir, it was fantastic shooting.
Yes, quite good. Do you know who was in that helicopter?
No. Go on, surprise me.
August Jacobson, the dead man from Hampstead Heath. I should say the man we presumed was dead.
I am surprised. Well, what happened to the regrab blueprint and the money we gave Henrik Jacobson?
Sad to say, regrab doesn't work. The blueprints are fake.
Oh. You tell me the whole story, slowly.
Well, briefly, what seems to have happened was this. The brothers August and Hendrik ran into a brick wall in their work on regrab. They'd spent 20 years in research and were determined to get something in return. August seems to have had the business sense to realize that good advertising sells a poor product. He decided that very good advertising would sell a product that didn't exist at all.
Such as regrab?
Right. Now, he put pressure on us and on the opposition by convincing each of us that the other was desperate to get his hands on the blueprint. Desperate enough to kill both brothers rather than let the opposition get it. Now, the idea was to persuade both of us that the situation was sufficiently urgent to justify paying out cash before checking whether regrab would work. So, we had the apparent murder of August and the repeated attempts on Hendrik's life.
Dummy attempts?
We don't know. Hendrik certainly thought so. But August may have decided to kill him quite early on and conduct the rest of the business through Julia.
How did they fake August Jacobson's death and the attacks on Henrik?
They had to buy help, of course. You remember our friend Pickering? He seems to have been involved in the conspiracy right up to his luxuriant eyebrows. He's in jail right now.
I never did like Pickering. Did he organize the attempts to kill me?
No. Well, that part of the organization was run by a man named Masterman. You must meet him. He's a gem. He hired a splendid assortment of layabouts and lunatics to go out and get themselves killed by you.
So I wasn't fighting our usual opposition, just a bunch of homegrown criminals.
Yes, I'm afraid that's true for most of the time.
Well, if you knew this, why didn't you let me know?
Oh, but I didn't know. I'm not at the time. It wasn't until you made your fateful journey to the docks that we got an anonymous phone call, probably from Brother August, telling us where we could pick up Pickering and Masterman and suggesting a few questions we might like to ask them. They spill the proverbial beans sufficiently for me to put the picture together.
I see.
Mind you, we began to have our suspicions about this affair when we examined the people you'd killed. I mean, most of them were hardly the type we've come to expect from the opposition. Didn't you have any suspicions yourself?
Well, I don't know about suspicions. A feeling of unease, certainly. I decided to play along.
I decided to let you, to see where it would lead.
Well, that was very clever of both of us. Now we know where it led. To the hospital. By the way, sir, you don't happen to have your flask of brandy with you, do you?
Just drink up your milk.
Time for your sleeping pill, Mr. Vine.
Look after yourself, Vine. get him on his feet soon, I have work for him.